So if you are in the market for a motorcycle, does the Kawasaki ZZR1400 make for a good investment? Let's find out. Oh, it was so sad. Just as I was doing the intro, there was a plane that was coming in to land, and I thought I timed it absolutely perfectly, but the plane wasn't in view, unfortunately. So, oh god, that's so annoying. It would look so cool with a plane coming to land behind me. Oh well, there you go. You win some, you lose some. Alright guys, so yeah, the Kawasaki ZZR1400. A lot of you know that I've owned this motorcycle now for quite a while, and it was the inspiration behind starting this channel, really, more than anything else. So for me personally, she has been a very, very good investment, and she practically pays for herself. The amount of income I'm able to make from YouTube around this motorcycle, I mean, she's basically paying for herself right now, which is pretty cool. The insurance, the tax and fuel, everything currently, I'm not doing it at the moment, but if I wanted to, I could be taking money from Google AdSense to be paying for this motorcycle, but that's not really what I'm doing. I'm kind of keeping it all to one side and investing it as and when I need it in new camera equipment or what have you. But I mean, in a general sense, if you're going to buy this motorcycle, is she worth it? Well, I mean, at the moment, no, not really. From an economic sense, not really. So, I mean, I paid £10,000 for this particular 2016 model, and I mean, I've had her for 2.5 years now, so I shouldn't be far off from paying her off entirely. But the value of a motorcycle like this has gone down a little bit. I mean, I was in the same, well, not the same dealership, but I was in a dealership recently, and I saw a ZZR for sale. It was newer. I think it was a 2017, maybe a 2018 model. It had done more miles. I think it was, I don't know, 5,000 miles, something like that. But it was worth less than this was when I bought it. So yeah, so the value of these are going down at the moment. So I mean, from a traditional economic sense, if you're investing in something, then you hope that it's gonna make you money. But yeah, that's not, I don't know. I mean, it's like with most motorcycles, most cars, they're a depreciating asset for the most part. But I mean, that's not really what this video is going to be about. This video is, we're not really going to be talking about this from an economic perspective, because as most bikers, as most motorcycle riders, you don't buy a motorcycle with the hope that it's going to keep its value or increase in value. You actually don't really care about that. It's the investment in your life, really, more than anything else. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the value you get from actually riding a ZZR, it's totally worth every penny. I don't regret buying this motorcycle for 1 second. Even if YouTube wasn't a thing, even if we didn't do the channel, what have you, this would still be a worthwhile investment for me. The adrenaline, the feeling that it gives you, it's very unique for me. It's very, very unique. And I'd heavily recommend that if you're looking at buying one of these, you're not going to go wrong. You're not going to go wrong. She is an awesome machine. And that's the thing. The value that she gives you in that regard is worth more than any money you'll ever pay. For me, it's worth a lot more than what I paid, because she's just one of those motorcycles that keeps on giving. It's like, well, I mean, it kind of ties in a little bit to the performance as well, because like I've said to you guys before, I never ever feel like as if I'm going to be able to extract the full amount of performance that this motorcycle has to offer, or the speed, or what have you. So there's always a little bit more that this motorcycle has available that it can give me from that point of view. But it's not just that, it's just the amount of experience, the attention, the people that you interact with when you own one of these motorcycles as well. It just adds to the experience. It really does make this motorcycle a worthwhile investment. And it's quite funny actually, because when I think about all the other motorcycles that I've bought, I've never ever felt the same way about a motorcycle than I do with this one. And clearly it's not just me, because a lot of you lot that watch these videos are also into these motorcycles. You're big fans of these motorcycles, you believe in these motorcycles, and so do I. And that's why it makes it such an amazing machine. Honestly, I mean, when you're able to combine top-end performance with touring features, with racing features, with sport bike features, it's a marvel. It's an absolute masterpiece. If you want to, you can tuck in, you can lean into the bike. If you want to, you can race the bike. If you want to, you can tour with the bike. And that can't really be said for a lot of motorcycles. A lot of motorcycles that are out there are they specialize in one thing or another. This motorcycle is a fantastic all-rounder. If you want to cruise on her, you can. If you want to tour on her, you can. If you want to race her around, you can. It's absolutely fantastic. And from that point of view, I mean, you're getting basically the whole package in a motorcycle for, well, I mean, depending on the year, you're looking anywhere between 5 and 10k for a really good example of one with low miles. Didn't quite get my foot high enough there to get it into third. Yeah. Honestly, yeah, absolutely fantastic motorcycle without a doubt, and definitely up there as one of the best in the world, especially for street use. I mean, let's not forget, this is a street motorcycle through and through. If you want the ultimate street riding experience, this is one of those bikes that's going to give it to you. Yeah, absolutely fantastic, and for me, worth every single penny. And I mean, this is going to differ between different people. Some people are going to say that there's too much power, there's too much performance, it's not necessary for the street. I get that, I understand that, and to some extent I accept that, because not everyone is going to be into this kind of motorcycle, in the sense that they're not going to get the same feeling as I am with the whole not glass ceiling, but kind of limitless potential this motorcycle has to offer. And I mean, you've got to be an extremely skilled rider to come anywhere close to what this machine can offer you in terms of performance. And there are some people that are complete opposite of that. They prefer to actually have a calmer experience, but one that they know they can fully utilize. And I understand that, I totally get that. And I suppose that's the difference between certain riders. Some people, like me, are very much into the whole kind of the excitement of having all that power and not knowing if you're able to fully use it, or the people that want to make the most out of their motorcycle with what they have. And that's the thing, I mean, if I got on a smaller motorcycle tomorrow, I'd still be pretty happy with it, because I know I'd be able to get quite a lot of experience, quite a lot of goodness, quite a lot of good stuff from almost any motorcycle. I mean, you guys know me. Whenever I'm riding around on the Ninja 125, yeah, it's not the most powerful thing in the world, and perhaps that's my biggest criticism, but I still absolutely love the thing. For a little bike, she's fantastic. And I have a habit of appreciating motorcycles for what they are, rather than their performance or what have you. You know, I mean, I'm an enthusiast, so it's going to take quite a lot to put me off a certain motorcycle. Apart from maybe Chinese bikes, but yeah, we won't get into that in today's video too much. I mean, for me, if you buy a Chinese motorcycle, it's a bad investment for me, at least from my experience. They're not good investments. And I mean, so you talk about the experience, you talk about the economics of all of it. Well, part of the economics of buying a motorcycle is whether or not it's going to run you and it's going to cost you a load of money to maintain. Well, no, not really. Not really. With this motorcycle, I've had to do very, very little maintenance. I've had to do very, very little fixes. Perhaps the most expensive fix that I had to do on this bike was actually the switch for the front brake lever there. And I didn't even have to buy a new one. I had to make an adjustment to it in order to get it to work, because it was like the signal wasn't that strong, because the rear brake light would flicker. But the fix that I did for that was really simple, really straightforward, and it's been working ever since. A part like that I think might have cost me about 30 quid, something like that. So again, not a lot of money, even if I did want to buy a new one. But I'm always about saving the pennies. I'm quite frugal with my money. I don't like spending money if I don't have to. And that's me, you know, someone who has bought 2 very expensive motorcycles, saying that, you know, that they're trying to be frugal with money. It doesn't, a bit of an oxymoron, isn't it? Doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's what I mean. For someone like me, this is a very, very worthwhile investment, despite the fact that it costs a butt ton of money, even just for one motorcycle. When you consider that you got to buy a car as well, I know that some of you just have motorcycles, and that's absolutely fine, but for me, my personal circumstance, I got to have a car as well. The wifey's got to have a car. Our jobs dictate to us what we need to have. And I mean, I would try as best as I could. I mean, that might be a challenge for a future video actually, is to simply live with a motorcycle, and that's it. Just a motorcycle, nothing else. And see if I can do it. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. I think I've gone the wrong way here. Yeah, I have. Yeah. Looking for a specific road again. But I don't really ride around these parts too much. Very pretty, but I don't ride around here too much. Let's turn around here. I knew full well that they were going to cost a lot, and they were going to put a massive strain on the household finances. I knew that, and that was before we started YouTube or anything like that. But it's still worth it for me. Definitely still worth it, and that's especially true with the ZZR. Now I know this is going to be different for quite a lot of people. What someone would consider a value proposition in a motorcycle is going to be different to myself. I get that. But you ask any ZZR owner and they'll tell you the exact same thing. They'll tell you that this is one of the best motorcycles they've ever bought, one of the best investments they've ever made in their life, in their lifestyle. And I suppose, again, you've got to be part of the lifestyle. You have to be an enthusiast almost to appreciate motorcycles like this. I mean, I don't know, does a casual rider buy a motorcycle like this? Let me know. Any of you in the comments, any of you viewing right now, are you a casual rider? Are you not an enthusiast, or you wouldn't regard yourself as an enthusiast? Do you own one of these motorcycles, or are you looking to buy one of these motorcycles? I don't know, that might be a good question. For an enthusiast, certainly, this is a motorcycle. This is every enthusiast's wet dream right here, is this bike. And that's not an exaggeration, I promise you. It's absolutely fantastic. And yeah, she is a good investment. She is a very, very good investment. And I mean, in the near future, because in Europe you can't buy these bikes anymore, not from new anyway. They're only available on the used market. And so you kind of think to yourself that maybe they will start going up in value over the next 10 years. And I have no doubt that that's probably going to happen, because these are the kinds of bikes that are going to be the classics of this era. Definitely. Motorcycles like the Hayabusa, even, I mean, for me, the Blackbird, I consider the Blackbird a modern classic, and it hasn't existed for, I don't know, I can't remember when they stopped production of the Blackbird. Was it 2006, something like that, the mid-2000s? I can't remember. They gave it up pretty early for my liking, but that's a classic for me, and these motorcycles are going to be classics in the near future. So maybe they'll be worth a bit more money, especially if you're going to have to start looking at imports and things like that, because of course you can still buy these in other parts of the world. You can still buy them in the United States. So I don't know, I suppose we'll have to wait and see. But from that point of view, it might be a decent investment. We'll have to wait and see. But that's the thing, I mean, a lot of us that ride the ZZR1400, the ZX-14, we're probably going to keep them. I mean, there are loads of people that I've seen in the comments before saying how they regret selling a ZZR, so they just buy a new one, they buy another one. And that's the kind of feeling that these motorcycles give you. It's a very, very unique feeling that I've never had on a motorcycle before, and I think I said that already earlier on in the video. But it's definitely true that it definitely grabs you. It grabs you in a way that no other motorcycle does. And it just feels like quality as well. Everything on this motorcycle feels quality. The paint job is absolutely fantastic. All the nuts and bolts feel really good. And I'll tell you one thing recently that I've discovered on the ZX2. The keyhole isn't very good. My key, it gets stuck and it doesn't want to unlock the handlebars and things like that every now and then. It's a real pain. But I've never ever had a problem with the key and the key system, the ignition system on the ZZR1400. It's absolutely flawless. It's so slick and smooth compared to the ZX2, which is a motorcycle that is in the same price range as this bike. But this is far better quality, it feels, even than the ZX2. All the components are just top-notch, seriously top-notch, with a perfect fit and finish. Yeah, this motorcycle screams quality in every single way. Every single place you look at it, it screams quality. No, it's not going to be as modern as some of the bikes that we see nowadays. And I get that as well. I've done videos about how I wish this bike was a little bit more modern. If they did a refresh model, something like that, it would have been nice to have a quick shifter. Again, I said that recently in a video. But it feels like, I don't know, imagine if you're buying a Ferrari from the 2000s. You know it's an old car. You know that a lot of the tech features are going to be old and probably not as cool or as functional as a modern Ferrari is. But it's still quality. It still screams quality. And that's exactly the same with this bike here. And I have no doubt that the first generation ZZR probably has a very similar feel, in the sense that everything is very, very dialed in. Everything is very precise. Everything looks fantastic and feels fantastic. Feels like some of the best hardware you can buy on a motorcycle. And that is the truth, guys. That is the truth right there. Oh, she's wicked. Oh, honestly, man, she gets my juices flowing so bad. She's awesome. Absolutely awesome. And I promise you, if you buy one of these, you will not regret it. I mean, having said that, if you are a person that's bought one of these bikes and you do regret it, then let me know in the comments why. Tell me why. And don't say it was because you got in a crash or something like that, because that's going to be the rider's fault, not the bike's fault. I remember there was comments that I've seen before of people saying, oh, I crashed on the ZZR1400 or the ZX-14, broke my neck, thanks Kawasaki. It's like, what? You're blaming the bike for that? Even though you crashed? It's got nothing to do with the bike. Unless you're stupid with it. Which again, we've spoken about before. But yeah, guys and girls, honestly, for my mind, this is one of the best motorcycle investments I have ever made. Better than the ZX2, better than any motorcycle I've ever ridden. This is by far the best investment in a motorcycle I've ever made. Without a doubt. Without a doubt whatsoever. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you ever so much for watching today's video, guys and girls. As always, make sure to leave a like if this video has helped you out, or if it's inspired you to buy a motorcycle like this. Definitely leave a like, definitely hit subscribe if you want to support the channel. And yeah, anyone that owns one of these bikes, they'll tell you all about it in the comments, how fantastic and how amazing they are. You should listen to us. Definitely, if you are in the market for a bike like this, you can't go wrong. I'm constantly like rubbing her like this, rubbing the tank. I don't know, it's just force of habit. But yeah, thanks again for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this lovely, dry but cold ride out with me. The winter is coming very, very thick and fast. I mean, had a few fantastic days in November, but yeah, the closer we get to December, the colder it's getting. But oh gosh, definitely starting to feel it now. It's not got to the point yet where it's too much, but it's getting there. Woo-hoo! We'll catch you on the next video, guys and girls. Thanks again for watching. Have a good one.